You all know I am doing my utmost best as being a little Peter Warrian, bringing you all of the most wonderful guests from all around the world. In specific, this month, and this week, should I say, I am not holding it back. I've brought to you another mainstream actor. When I start to tell you the achievements of this young lady, you are going to, if you're watching us, by the way, live, we are live right now on the radio, but also, if you can, give yourself a chance and have a look up as let's put my teeth back in now. If you can look up us, this is not working, is it, Belle? Let's have a bit of fun and laugh about it. Yes, I think I would. Okay, so if you can go onto Facebook Live, onto Salam Radio, by all means, have a look at the Facebook Live, because both of us on there, we're waving at you now, I'm sure. And also a new edition of YouTube Live. So please do have a look at Salam Radio, and we have got an amazing following on YouTube. So please become a member, become a part of our channel, and feedback, give us some understanding of what else you'd like to see on this show. I hope that you're enjoying my additions in the last few weeks, again in this lovely new year of 2019. I cannot genuinely believe that we're already in the second week, if not coming up to the third week of February 2019. Wow, it just started. Well, back to why we're here today. It is the Empower Hour. This show is designed for self-empowerment, is designed to give you the wish and the hope of following your dreams and actually delivering and achieving whatever you want. Our guest today is by no means, she's giggling and laughing and really nervous, and you're really surprised because she's an actor. But what a lovely personality. I've had the good fortune of spending some time with Bal just recently. If you would like to get involved and would like to talk, as you always do, and I thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart, from all of our listeners from around the globe, because this goes internationally after the show's been aired. Its WhatsApp is Peterborough, and obviously it's UK 0044 or +44 07745 278 978. So please send us a WhatsApp in there. Alternatively, go onto Facebook Live, add yourself on the downline, and that'll be fine as well, and we'll try and respond with reference to your questions if you have any. And if you would like to get involved with the call, please do call the direct line on 01733 602 133, and Bal will be happy to take your call as well. Well, I'm going to get straight to the point. Balvinder Sopal. She is under an amazing rush at the moment. She's achieving at the top of her voice, and the top of her career as an actor. I can't tell you how long, because that'll make it look as though she's older than what she truly is, but she's not. Balvinder Sopal is her name, goes by Bal to her friends. I'm very proud to be able to call you Bal today. And she's been an actor for a number of years, and I'm not sure whether you remember, there was, for the last 8 or 9 years, there's actually been an absolute chart-breaking program called Call the Midwife. Yes, Bal was in Call the Midwife. She was one of the lead actors in one of the episodes there as well. And we're going to bring her back in a moment to ask her what else she was up to as well, but she's also a model. She's also a radio presenter, a co-radio presenter like myself. And on top of all of this, above all of this, she's a proud Asian lady in all of this. And such a beautiful person at that too. So let me not hold back at all. Let me welcome Bal straight into the studio. Welcome, Bal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sukhi. What a wonderful introduction.
I don't think I've even done it justice. I mean, I'm going to ask you now even more. I mean, just tremendous work you've done. So many different roles you've done. You've done, you know, heartfelt roles, such as in the first half, everybody knows here. So, by the way, this is live, so I do put you on the spot sometimes.
Yeah.
So be ready for it.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm poised.
But you know, you've done roles from an Islamic background. You've done roles from environments where they've been quite contentious, haven't they? You know, with home domestic violence and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's been, you know, I think the birth of work that you've done, you know, the body of work that you've done and you're starting to leave on this planet as a legacy is truly humbling. So well done from all of us here.
You're very kind. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you.
It's an honest thing. It's an honest thing. Well, as we always do, we're going to be talking a little bit about your journey up until now. I mean, it's been brilliant talking to you before the show.
Yeah.
And,
nice.
and we're going to have that same magic on the show live for everybody here as well. So, Bal, just a quick question to yourself. Please tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, where have you come from?
As in, literally today?
Well, okay, you can't tell the comedic acting and the timing there. She's put me right in it, hasn't she? Yes, a bit later. But what we'll do is we'll talk a bit about kind of your journey up until now, if that's okay. You know, just you know, the intention of this is an empowerment program.
Yes.
And this is about everything you've been through in your life. It's about Bal as the real Bal, as opposed to not the show Bal or the character Bal. Does that make sense? Or whichever character play. So the stage is yours. You know, where have you come in from? I know you're the eldest of.
I am, yes, the eldest of 4 children. We're 2 boys and 2 girls. And being the eldest carries a lot of weight, right? You're supposed to do everything right. But of course, I didn't do everything right. I became an actor. I'm not married. I don't have children. I still live at home with my parents.
So hang on a second. Let's get this right a second. So you're world conquering for a start. And then you start off by saying, guess what? I didn't get married. I didn't do this. I didn't do this.
No, but that's my strength, right? For me, I think that's amazing. So. I think, you know, I followed my path.
Yeah, I truly
against
believe so.
all the odds. And I'm not saying there wasn't support along the way. I think it's a very different understanding from our Asian perspective. You know, if you don't have all this, well, not necessarily Asian. I think a lot of people, you know, think that if you haven't achieved certain things by the time you're 30 or whatever, that you've sort of not made life. But there are so many different ways to make life. And one of them is by following what makes you happy.
Wow.
You know, and for me, it's always been sort of performance or connecting with people through performance, and telling those stories, the important stories that, you know, are about our societies, about our families, about, you know, just people. Yeah, and I like being on the stage, even though it scares me.
You won't believe this, audience. I'm just going to honestly tell you the truth. You know, such an acclaimed and such a characterful and most importantly a skilled actor as I have here, and she's just got such a softness about her as well when she's sitting in the studio. She's got a little bit of timidness about her, but trust me, when she starts, I'm sure she's going to rip my head off in a minute.
But it always happens, and that's the thing, is like when I'm doing a job, 2 minutes before I'm about to go on, I'm standing in the wings and I can't remember a word of what I'm supposed to say. I can't remember my first word. It always happens. And sometimes I'll have dreams, anxiety dreams, of losing literally my voice or all the dialogue that I'm supposed to say, and coming on and not actually doing the job I'm employed to do. And people thinking I'm rubbish and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, what happens is the minute you get on stage, it's magic, and you just have to switch it on, and something just automatically happens, and you're just like, yep, I feel at home here and I know what I'm doing, and have a listen to this.
Oh, how lovely is that? Now, for the listeners today, I mean, do you have any sort of like progresses or processes that you go through that kind of just get you into the frame or gets you clicking it? Because I'm sure people out there are having a challenge. Maybe they're going to go for an interview. Maybe they're going to take an acting role on themselves. We've got some budding players in Peterborough as well. So just anything.
It used to be a lot of different things. You know, I used to sit and listen to music. I used to listen to classic FM at first. Wow. Yeah, just to quieten the. Just noise? To sort of quieten the noise, yeah. But then I found that became very noisy. And then I was like, okay, what I need to do is be in a room by myself, and just sort of just take time out and breathing. And actually what I find really soothes me is putting my makeup on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about there. I'll put my lipstick on a bit later. Sorry,
but it's really... That's what it was. No, because what it is it's a task, and you're not having to think about, you know, it sort of closes the sort of negative voice in your head, because you're focusing on the present. You're focusing on getting ready and, you know, breathing and just sort of doing what is necessary. Centers me, I find. Yeah.
That's a beautiful message. So in neuroscience, because obviously I assist a lot of people within business and science as well, it's about being present. It's about being in the now, right? Yeah. So what you've done basically is you're utilizing a practical, what we classify as a bit of a less of a thinker kind of
Yeah,
action
yeah.
to quieten the voice down.
Yeah.
So that you find actually calms you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Totally.
Then you can get completely in the zone.
You sort of get to a place where you go, okay, I can handle this. I can do this. But I mean, how much does that work? Because 2 minutes before I'm about to go on, I'm like, but it does. It does. It absolutely sort of centers you when you go. And also the thing is, once you're on that stage or you're on camera or you're sat talking to Sukhi Wahiwala, you just have to do it. You can't sort of, there's no backing out. And so whatever happens, and you have to be happy with that. And also, like, I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to get it right. It doesn't have to be right, because I think that's also where the creativity is. And so if a line goes missing on stage, or if somebody drops it or I drop it, there's so much excitement because you go, okay, who's going to pick this up now? What's going to happen? And that's when the real acting happens. That's when the real magic happens.
Is that what you call improvising?
Improvising, improvising, and just sort of picking the ball up is what they call it. So if somebody drops the ball, you pick it back up and you carry it on. You carry the story.
So this has actually really happened a lot.
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times.
Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot about it, but there we are. But
and sometimes I blank, or I'll say something the wrong way round. But so long as the actor that you're playing with gets what they need from you to be able to, carry on, then I think it's, you've done your job. But obviously you try not for that to happen and to sort of stay in the zone and create a fresh performance every night. But anything can happen. I did a show once where it was a rehearsed reading type thing, but we had to learn it. So it was a couple of nights, and we had to eat chips on stage.
Oh, wow.
Okay, no, but it was really bad.
I could see a queue of people saying, can I go? Can I be there?
So we had to eat these chips, and it was in Bradford. And we got these chips from a fish shop in Bradford, and everyone was like, they're the best chips on the planet. Honestly, you'll really enjoy it. I was like, cool, okay, fine. So my character is standing at the edge of the water eating these chips. 3 nights in a row we did this show. 3 nights in a row the chips got stuck in my throat.
What, every time?
And I could not swallow the chips down to be able to speak.
We've all had that lump in the throat just there, and you're trying to get it down. So what happened then?
And I was like, I was just there sort of going, like making these horrible swallowing sounds and sort of looking at my actor, just going, help me, and the first time it was electric because we just didn't know what was going to happen. And the audience, you could hear them, they were just they were like, waiting with bated breath just to see what was going to happen. And of course we got through it because the chips then went down and Darren picked it up and it was wonderful. But then it happened the second night and they put a bottle of water down and I couldn't open the water bottle. I don't know what's happening, but maybe that was nerves or I don't know. But anyway, I just said, look, do I have to eat the chips? Like, can we do something else? And they were like, Bal, you have to eat the chips. Perhaps don't eat so many.
I don't know whether you can see us in this in the video, but we're having an absolute ball of laugh here.
But yes, in that moment, I could have walked off.
Absolutely.
Right? I could have just stopped the show, but I didn't because I owed it to the audience and to my fellow actors and also the people that have put so much energy and time into making the show, the writer, the producer, the director. You have to honour all those people. So, yeah.
That's such a beautiful element of your character that's just coming through again because it's that professionalism. Did that bottle open, by the way? Did you get it okay? Yeah, okay, good. If you're watching basically on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you'll notice that she's got 2 bottles of water right next to her just in case the chips get stuck.
Have we got chips coming?
Oh, bless. Do you know, honestly, we're laughing and giggling it off, but the reality is that these sort of things, your natural ability comes through there, doesn't it? Like it just shines through. So I can see and I can feel such a very warm energy from yourself, but a very strong, sturdy, kind of like I know where I'm coming from. I take it, obviously, there's a genetic, obviously we have an element of what we classify as our genetic pool and also our environment, so nature as versus nurture. But you've taken a beautiful journey, so just tell us a little bit about what's been happening in your life. What did you do when you came to schooling, studying, that kind of scenario, if you can.
Yeah, so obviously I studied in, I went to school in Gillingham, and And at school, I wasn't such an extrovert. I don't think I am such an extrovert, to be honest with you. I think I was because being the eldest, I think there is a sense of reservedness, like you know, because you have a certain responsibility. And I always wanted to make my parents proud. I always wanted to do well at school. And I wanted, you know, the community to say to my mum and dad, you know, look, Ginni Jungi Guriya in Sara, but she's really great and all this kind of stuff. And so I was always a little bit slightly reserved than the rest of my brothers and sisters. And of course, I think maybe as well, you know, your parents give you that quality, don't they? And then by the time the second, third and fourth child come along, they're not so worried about, you know, instilling certain, not values, but I think the younger ones are allowed to have a bit more of a character, personality, aren't they? I'm only finding that now, I think. Really? Because I've kind of come into my own and I've gone, I like this, I like that, I am this way. And often Dad and I'll sit and have chats about, you know, and even my mum, you know, about the universe and the soul and communication and people and stuff like that. And I don't think I was able to have those conversations before because I didn't necessarily understand it myself. But I was like, right, I've just got to get the grades. I've just got to get the qualifications.
This is so... I think a lot of our listeners and viewers will be definitely resonating with what you're saying there. Because whether they're the oldest or the youngest... I mean, last week we had Jessa here, and he was talking about the dualities that he had in his world, about the next generation with Punjabi language and stuff of that sort of nature. And in essence, you're talking about something... It's kind of a new empowerment conversation we're having here, which is about being the eldest as well.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a certain set of what we classify as parameters. Because as a parent, myself included, you know, you don't always know how to bring that child up. So you're probably a little bit more on the cautious side than anything else. Is that what
I think, so here's the thing. I think I am, but I also think there is a risky side to me as well, because I've gone down the actor route. I haven't gone down as safe as it were, you know. I'm not
in the stereotypical
way, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just have to say I think it's a brilliant thing, the choice that I've made as the person, you know, the sort of job that I engage with and how I engage with that. But I also think my mum and dad, I have lots of characteristics of my mum and dad. You know, so they are quite reserved people. They are well respected. They, you know, they have a sense of community, and they speak. Obviously, they speak Punjabi, and you know, mum goes to Gurdwara, and so does my dad. And I wanted to be able to speak Punjabi. I love Indian tea. Punjabi chai is my favourite. My brothers and sisters won't touch it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I love it. You know, so I have a lot of that side of me, a lot of the Punjabi side, you know, but I want to retain that because that's who I am.
You, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm not saying my brothers and sisters don't have that, but they have a different way of engaging with it. You know. So what I've just picked up is we were talking earlier around my house, actually, when you first arrived in Peterborough, and you were having a conversation with my sisters, actually, would you believe? And you who are lovely, by the way. I mean, they're so wonderful and so warm and open and welcoming. I mean, it's nice. It's nice when you get people like that.
And I think all of us were together, I think my wife and stuff, we were all four of you were sitting there laughing and joking. I had to take a picture of you because it was just like as though I'd adopted or we found another sister, and that's the honest truth. It was just so warming. So the question I was going to say to yourself is, do you find, because, you know, we are talking about the reserved element and the extroverted energies, etc., that do you find that you being the softer character is in your benefit? Because I would believe so as well. And do you find that when you walk into, because I saw you gel with everybody in the room, and you had a beautiful, heartfelt, heart-centered conversation with both my sisters and my wife as well. So it didn't take you very long to adapt. And this is a skill, or should I say a natural gift, I believe. So do you actually know when you're really connecting with people, or are you consciously doing it, or do you just sort of become... Oh.
I think it just happens. I mean, look, we come from big families, right? So we have that anyway, uncles, aunties, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And I love going to see my daiji and dayaji, you know, love sitting and having a cup of tea.
Uncle and auntie.
Uncle and auntie, you know, I love sitting and having a cup of tea with them. And, you know, their kids might not go and see them, but I will, you know, because it's just something that I do. And I also think maybe being an actor, you know, or coming from that kind of world. I'm interested in people. I like connecting with people. I gravitate towards people that are good with me and are open and show me love, you know.
Yes.
Because you can feel energies, can't you? You can feel sometimes people don't necessarily gel with you. And then when that happens, you just know and you don't push it. I mean, you just go, that's fine, TK, this is what it is, and it'll only last however long it lasts, and that's fine.
Wonderful.
You know.
And do you know what? That within itself, I think you won't believe we've only got 6 minutes left.
No, really?
That quick.
I honestly didn't believe you said it in the car. It's going to go so quickly. I was like, no.
That quick. The audience is sitting there listening. And do you know, I really am. We're very touched by this conversation because it's true. Being able to connect with other human beings quickly, get yourself out of the positive elements of life, you know, when you're just overcoming that little bit of rejection in yourself in the sense of, oh, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm going to get this wrong, and then calming yourself down by taking meditative practice, for example. This is just very, very, very apt for the Empower Hour. Thank you very much for sharing. So a little bit, you know, I'd like to just, if you don't mind, just share a little bit more, because I didn't do you any justice. I've got a list of stuff that I should have been talking about, but I wanted you to talk about it a little bit more. What other things have you been involved in recently?
Okay, so as a creative, we always have to, I think it's sort of inbuilt, you always want to create. And so I've, it's quite funny, I sent an email to BBC Radio Kent, and I just said, hi, they've got a new culture and arts show. And I went, hi, my name's Bal. I'm a local actress to Gillingham. Just wondered if I could come on the show and have a chat with you. Not thinking anything of it, you know, and also thinking that I was blowing my own trumpet. And would you know, sort of after Christmas, I get an email from Dominic King, and he says, yeah, lovely, we'd love to have you on the conversation. Come and have a chat with us. Then I thought, what am I going to say? I wasn't doing anything. So
you can work it out later. Let's get in the door
Let's
first.
Get in there. So I got in, and we had a lovely chat, and it was really nice. And he spoke about Call the Midwife and all the work that I was up to. And it was great. And then they do this thing called open access reports. And I was like, you know what? I come from a town called Gillingham. Not a lot of people know about it. There's a lot of stuff happening. It's very diverse. It's very vibrant. Why don't I see if I can pitch some stories or, you know, some ideas? And so I did. So there's this, I said, look, there's a centre down the road, which used to be an old laundrette. And, you know, the whole landscape on my street has changed. I said, there's this community hub, which is a wonderful place for people with mental health.
Okay.
They use creativity to help people with mental health. And I think this is an amazing thing because what it does, creativity channels your authentic self, because we're all creators at heart, right? So and it's also a doctor's surgery. There's a counselling service there as well, and a chemist and a cafe. And I was like, this is extraordinary. It's on my doorstep. Like, why don't I speak to the people there? So I went down with my little phone and I got a few interviews and I spoke to people just off the cuff. I handed it to Dominic and he put it together and he put it out last week. And funnily enough, tonight is my second report, which I did on Chinese New Year in Medway. And that's going to be played at 7:30 in about 5 minutes on the radio. So I'm in two places.
So you've got a pre-record and you've got the live.
Yes.
everybody here in Peterborough, we've got a live. If you can see us, we've actually got the live.
I'm the real me here.
Yes, the real me. But you know, that's so beautiful. And I also want to just open up something, because I think most of us, when we have the tithing element, the zakat in Islamic terms, or the seva with Hinduism and Sikhism, I believe there's a private side of oneself, and I just want to bring a little bit of you to the marketplace as well, to the open audience, and I want to show with great success, and you know, being a hit in acting and having the agencies and being involved in all stuff, and being a model as well, we haven't touched on yet. But there's a soft side to you as well. I mean, there's a real humanitarian side to you.
Yeah.
And there was something that I was really blown away by, because you work very strongly with the homeless as well. And what really touched me is that little story. You can talk. Would you mind just sharing that story with that young lady?
Young lady, yeah. So
first of all, a little bit what you do with this.
Yes.
What, about 2 minutes?
So okay, right. I'll be quick. So I work with a charity called One Big Family. They are London-based, Yorkshire-based, and Medway-based, and they run a shelter, an emergency refuge centre, which is open all night for our homeless people to access. They don't have to be referred, they can just turn up. And they also run a soup kitchen. I want to tell you how I came about it, really.
Yeah, please do.
So what I did was I went for a walk. I like going for long walks, okay? So I decided to go from Gillingham to Rochester this one evening. And then walk back again. As you do. Just on thing, Hannah. And just
We've
like,
got 6 seconds.
oh no,
60 seconds.
Can we pick this up?
We will pick this up very
because
heavily.
it's the universe, and I want to just explain how the universe works in such like amazing ways. But anyway, so I literally went, I need to do some charity work. I want to give to the community. How do I do this? As I was walking back past Chatham bus station, there's a soup kitchen right there. And I was like, I have to speak to these people. I need to know what they're doing. And I said, excuse me, what are you doing? And she said, well, we're feeding the homeless. And I said, how many nights a week are you here? She said, we're here Wednesdays and Sundays, I think it was, and Saturdays. And I went, and can I volunteer for you? She went, yeah, just turn up. Come
Literally.
down, just come down, help out. And I went, and what happens is she's literally just feeding people.
Well, what I'm going to do is, sorry about this. I'm going to pause you just there. So this, if you've just tuned into ourselves, we're with Balvinder Sopal. She's an actress, and you can see her on there. We've got 10 seconds. But this is the Empower Hour with myself, Sukhi Wahiwala. Please do get involved. In the second half at 7:30, we're going to carry on with this conversation. Good night.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the best charity is to provide water. Every minute, 3 children die from drinking dirty, contaminated water. With your help, we can deliver thirst relief by building a water well in Asia or Africa and transform the lives of communities with a reliable source of clean water. Call 03000 11 11 11 or visit www.pennyappeal.org. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
Peterborough just got a whole lot tastier. Five Lads Flame Grilled Peri Peri Chicken is now open. Bring your family and friends to Peterborough's first HMC meat selling restaurant. We are experts in grilled chicken, lamb chops and gourmet lamb and beef burgers. Our healthy options include fresh salads and fresh grilled vegetables. Fresh, clean and healthy grilled food with 4 different flavours. Lemon and herb, medium, hot and extra hot. 5-star hygiene rating. Eat in, order and collect or order for delivery on Deliveroo. Follow 5 Lads Peterborough on Facebook and Instagram 5 Lads. 15 Cowgate, Peterborough, PE1 1LZ. Call 01733 56 22 87. Open 7 days a week, 12 to 11 p.m.
Almarad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Almarad Tiles, now open.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no-win, no-fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf, with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the NatWest Bank. Accident specialists. Start your successful claim today.
Feel like some great tasting chicken tonight? Great meal deals, wraps, burgers and sides. We've got it all at Chicken Palace. Call and collect at 302 Lincoln Road on 01733 702 447 or 8 Park Road on 01733 34 3750. Chicken Palace, open 11 a.m. till late.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس صدق الله العظيم.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome back. This is Sukhi Wahiwala, your host this evening on Empower Hour. Today, every Tuesday between 7 and 8 o'clock. We have been an amazing conversation so far with Balvinder Sopal, who's an actress or actor. And the conversations we're having has been, in my opinion, really, really heart-centered. And I'd love to introduce her back in, because I'm going to go continue with her conversation of how she assists in a humanitarian basis, just to ensure that we can all understand that with great fame comes a responsibility of self-give back as well. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
You're so wonderful. It's so giving, so kind.
Oh, thank you very much.
No.
And I think basically this sits in specific to yourself as well, Balvinder. So for this evening, I just want to actually just clarify, because I think there's a side of you that I don't believe the public gets to hear. They tend to hear, Call the Midwife and all of your headliner reels and stuff of that sort of nature. But there's a beautiful soft nature and a very strong humanitarian side of yourself. Now we've got a bit more time. We're in the second half, could you believe, already. So in the conversation, we were talking about how you have got yourself involved in charitable organisations and One Big Family. Please do continue. Obviously, we started with the conversation where you were sitting. If you go back to your walk,
yes,
and then we'll pick it up from there.
So,
some of the listeners may not have heard it.
Okay, cool. So I decided one day to walk from Gillingham, which is my hometown, to Rochester. It's about, I don't actually know how many miles it is, but it takes me, let's say it's about two hours walk.
Oh my goodness! So she's a rambler as well. I was going to say to you, what 2 minutes? Or something like that. She's going, no, as you do. You just walk from one city to another city.
Yeah, it literally is a one town. I walk through one town, through another town, and I get to the town that I wanted to get to. And I started off early, and I got to this coffee shop, which I really love, and they do homemade cakes. And I sat and had a coffee, and then I walked back.
I knew cake had to be a part of it.
Cake and coffee is always a part of me.
You
come and see me. We're going for cake and coffee.
You'll get on so well with Balvinder, my wife. Cake.
Oh man, love it.
Please.
So anyway, and as you do, I was just thinking, I need to do something. I want to do something, and in my heart, I was like, I want to do, because also I'd been to Calais and I worked in the soup kitchens there. I think it was 2016. We went for a weekend. A friend and I, we were doing a show together, and he just sort of went, "Listen, do you want to come?" And I was like, not quite sure, but that kind of gave me a sense of I need to give back somehow. And so, and as I was walking back, and I was like, I want to do some charity work. I want to do some work with the homeless people or something like that. And I walk through Chatham bus station, and One Big Family have set up their soup kitchen. So I was like, excuse me, what's going on here? And she said, oh, we're soup kitchen. I said, what does that mean? And she said, we're feeding the homeless people. And I was like, okay, can I come and volunteer? She was like, yeah. I was like, great, what days are you here? And she said Wednesdays, Saturday and Sunday. So I was like, I can come down anytime I want. Yep, just come down. And I said, and what do you do?
Just turn up.
Just turn up. It's a volunteering service, just turn up. So what do you do? She said, we're just serving people. So you have a look around, and they've got hot food, and then there's teas and coffees. And then there's also toiletries and clothes for people, This was summertime. Yeah, I keep moving away from the mic. This was summertime, so I don't think there was a clothes stall, I'm not sure, but there was certainly food and teas and coffees. And I said, great, I'll come down then. And of course, as it happens, I ended up getting a job, so I had to go away for about, I think, 2 months. And I was like, God, I hope they, still
remember me
and allow me to come down and don't think I'm flaky in a sense, Yeah,
because in essence you kind of semi-committed, but then said, I'm going to be here, and then
you're not there. Yeah,
that's acting for you though. That's
right,
life, right? Sure.
So I sent Liz a text message, and I said, look, I'm away in Leeds, I'm doing this job, but I would still love to be a part of the charity. Is it okay to come? She said, yeah, you just come down whenever you want, it's not a problem. So I did, and the first time I went down, it was my dad's 70th birthday.
Oh, God bless.
And and that was last September, and we did a part at the Gurdwara, and I said to Mum, I said, whatever is left over, food bachaoega, we're taking that down to One Big Family.
Yeah, so whatever food is left over from the temple, yeah.
And she said, fine, no worries. It's right, cool. So all the aunties were like, oh, what are you going to do? That's all right, we're taking it down. And they just sort of went, Okay then, fine. So they got all the baltis out, all the buckets out, and we poured, there was dal, there was sabji, there was roti as well, so chapatis. And I think, did we make kheer? Yes, there was rice pudding as well. So anyway, we took that down, me and my dad.
Well done.
My dad came with me and he stood there and he was like, Dad, do you want to join in? He's like, no, it's all right, Lee, you carry on. I'll just stand here and watch.
See what's going on.
Yeah, and so we served everybody. The food went, everything went. And of course, because it's home cooked, fresh, it's, it's from the soul, and it was just hot as well.
It's been preyed upon.
It's been preyed upon.
On it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
And was that, sorry to stop you there mid-flow there, but
no.
Was that connected, was that actually still with one big family?
Yeah.
Did you sort of did they have their own food and you just bought
They had their
extra?
own food. Yeah, totally.
Right, I'm just sharing this so people who are probably having a similar idea, probably thinking about that,
Yeah.
So they actually had their own food.
Yeah, they had chicken pie or something, like chicken pie pasta and some other stuff. And of course, the chicken stuff went first, because it's meat. And Liz did say, they like to eat sort of meat, over vegetables. And I said, that's fine, And I was a little bit worried because I was like, I don't know if the food's going to go and if I'm going to have to take it back or anything. And it all went. We didn't have to take anything back, which was so,
right in the vein of Guru Nanak.
Absolutely.
Who basically was the originator of seva with the langar. Langar is actually the free food or the free kitchen, you could say.
Yeah.
You can go into any gurudwara across the country and you can walk in and have a free vegetarian meal.
Yeah, regardless of who you are, regardless of your background, you can just, and I just thought this is the perfect place to do it.
Please continue.
And so, so then we served everybody and we left. And I said to my dad, I said, I want to keep doing that. And he said, okay, if you're sure, Lee, they think I'm half mad anyway. So I said, yeah, cool, okay, let's do that then. And it's funny because they thought that my dad was an inspector from the council.
To make sure that everything is clean, hygienic and delivered correctly.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's my dad, and so I do it now every week.
Seriously?
I go down, as when I'm around. So I go down on a Sunday. Excuse me. The soup kitchen is from 6:30 till 7:30, and then the emergency refuge opens at 9 until midnight. And so I work from 9 until sort of 11:30, and then I'm out. The residents are there, and they sort of get told to leave in the morning at 8 o'clock when it then becomes a public building.
So that's locked down at midnight. And then they stay there until early hours.
And
of the morning.
Stay there all evening.
Evening,
that's right. Yeah, and yes, and so I've met a few very interesting and wonderful and amazing people. People that you wouldn't necessarily meet on a normal street. And there's this one girl there. I'm not allowed to say names, obviously, because of disclosure and stuff like that. But she said she was having a bad night and she'd gone to Liz, who's the organiser, and said, Liz, I need help. I can't, I can't live like this, I guess. And Liz said, look, get yourself a book and just write stuff. Just write it.
How powerful.
And of course, I don't know if she's ever written anything or, she was like, okay, fine. And then I went down, that happened at the night before, so I go down the next night and she's like, do you want to have a read? Do you want to showing me this book? And I said, what happened? And she said, Liz said to write my feelings down. Liz said to write what I was feeling in a book. And I said, okay. And she went, here, have a read. 20 pages of emotion, just real raw emotion. And I was like, no creative could write it. Like, if you wanted to write it, you couldn't. Do you know what I mean?
So you had to kind of be through it. Yeah.
God, it was so beautiful. She was writing things about, I can't, there's no way I'd be able to do it justice, unfortunately, but she was talking about how the moon keeps her.
I can see the emotions coming through as well.
Like how the moon guides her and all that kind of, and that's her solace. And I just thought, my God, these people are people just like us. They feel, and it was amazing.
That's a truly empowering moment. Please do grab some water.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a truly empowering moment. So, the reality that there is no difference. Humanity, mankind is all one. And it doesn't make a difference. We all have our own little journeys and our own little, our challenges in life, should I say.
Absolutely.
And ups and downs and whichever you think about it. But at the end of the day, if somebody's given the time, the medium and the security and also the support to become that creative, as you said, some of the writing that was coming out from this young lady,
heart pouring, stuff, imagery that I couldn't even conjure up, and yes, they say, you're most creative when you're in your darkest moments, which is true, but some of it was beautiful. She was writing about her family, she was writing about this place that she was living in, you know, and how she related to the world around her, what she felt about herself, all of that. And in a way, that's cathartic, isn't it? And that's getting to know who you are. And also what was really beautiful is how empowered she was showing me
now, this is the point I wanted to get to. Wow.
Right, yeah.
So post her writing all this, but first things first, I mean, the line manager or the lady who was in charge, the sheer experience that she's faced by saying to her, just grab a pen and paper and write down. Yeah. Now, this is something that I, in the cathartic logic of looking inwards, but it's also a logic that's called Cartesian, and also I've synchronized it with a methodology that I have written called the Synagogue method. Oh, and we call this very simply, I used to call it think it, write it, see it. And the process is one of my mentees, her name is Manjeet Kaur, and she's slightly adjusted it. She's called it think it, ink it, see it.
Nice, okay.
And so I've took it on. There you are.
Of course.
So think it, ink it, see it. That means basically think it, ink it on a piece of paper, and then view it back. And what happens is that you end up emptying stuff from your unconsciousness that you never even thought was sitting there. Stuff that could have been you 20 years ago, or a meaning that you've been living for the last 20, 30 years. And you carry forward. And this is the power of what you read. And instantly, as we know from another gentleman called Masaru Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto, he understands with the water crystal experiment, where we infuse water with energy of our feeling. The words are the same, because when a person's reading it, it obviously had an effect on you. Just a moment ago, you had to stop and take some water. And that's just so beautiful to see and feel. Now, first of all, thank you very much for that story. It's really, really touching. But I'm going to move you on a little bit if I can.
Of course, yeah.
A little dicky bird tells me something.
Oh, no. Where's this dicky bird come from?
I have a lot of these secret spies that go and tell me these little things. So one of the things I'm going to share with yourself is that somebody told me that you're writing a book.
No. Where are they? Get them here.
So... okay, let's get straight to the point. You're writing a book, aren't you?
Oh, okay.
I've got you.
Yes, I am. Yes.
You know what the next question is going to be in it?
What's it about?
What's it about? Come on. You've gone from writing from this beautiful young lady who's shared her heart, but you've got a creative side to yourself that you're kind of not really penciling in and showing me about.
Well,
so come on then.
So no, okay, so here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. I think I can call myself an actress and a radio presenter and all that sort of stuff because I've done it and people can see it. And also modelling. I mean, it's not high class modelling, but it's modelling.
Modelling is modelling.
Modelling is modelling, and there are some lovely portraits on my Instagram if anybody wants to check them out. But
nudge, wink, wink. What is your Insta by any chance?
It's Lee Sopal, actually.
Lee,
yeah, that's my nickname that my dad has given me. I don't know where it comes from. I have no idea why I'm called Lee.
So Lee it is then.
So Lee is
Sopal.
Yeah, Lee Sopal.
Yeah, so it's LEESOPAL.
That's it.
And that's on Instagram. So please, please support her and give her a like.
Yeah, and I also share work and stuff that I'm doing as well.
Of course.
But yes, no. So and I've never been a writer. Yeah. I've never penned anything except from poems. I've written like when I was younger. I guess in a way, like my lady at the homeless shelter, writing poems was a way of dealing with feelings, things that you couldn't necessarily talk about or you didn't know how to talk about, or if you told your mum, she'd be like, just don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
In other words, focus on your studies.
Yeah.
Stop writing this silly quadrimagiodal.
Stop writing about travelling away, though. Just do your work.
Yeah. No, but please continue. I mean, you spoke about poems and how that poem, when you were younger, you were writing poems, thinking nothing of it, and kind of, in essence, being semi-ashamed or just pumping it under the sofa or under the pillow,
under the bed. I had
a
a massive book full of just poems, just words, and like as teenagers, you do go through a dark period, don't you? Because you don't quite know what's happening, the mind-body connection and all that kind of stuff. And I wish, but then maybe I don't know. I sort of go, I wish I knew what I know now then, because I could train my mind and I could be something. I am something amazing, but even more amazing. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, now's a good time, isn't it?
Now is a good time.
So the Empowerment Hour talks about these sort of things.
Yeah.
It's never too late. Because the only time is in the time of relative and reality. There is only now.
Yeah.
Because the past is a memory of the past.
Yeah.
And the future is also a memory of the future.
Yeah.
The only time is now.
Yeah.
Now?
It's gone
sorry,
now.
I'm only joking.
No, but also
now,
I heard something.
Please go for it.
No, but that whole idea of the past as well. The past changes.
Absolutely. By your own current
by the
memory.
way you look at it, right? Because when you're in it,
Beautifully
it's something totally different. So you can essentially change your past and make the present something completely different with how you react and how you sort of take things in. And then your future is something else because it's informed by...
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. You know, there's a saying that says, every time I recall my past, I add a bit of my present in it.
Right.
So logically, it can never be the same.
No.
But can you hear, readers and listeners and watchers, that she's evading her book conversation?
Oh, no.
You
so I'll come back.
Very tactful. So let's go back to this book.
Yes, so the book. So I, like I say, I was never a writer. I never had anything to write about because I didn't know what to say. And then I go to Edinburgh International Book Festival last year. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I wanted to be at the festival because I wanted to see shows and stuff. And of course, as everybody knows, it's so expensive. You know, you spend a couple of days there, you've spent well over 500 quid.
Wow.
And I thought, well, why don't I be a bit entrepreneurial? Why don't I get a job and see if I can also catch some shows while I'm at it? And just, see how that works out and catch up with friends and things like that. So I did.
In Edinburgh, yeah.
In Edinburgh. So I applied for work, various different front of house jobs. And I get a job at the Edinburgh International Book Festival, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I have no interest in books, but I'll go along and see what happens. I fell in love with books.
Please continue.
I fell in love with books, and I was like, I sat and listened to over 20 authors talk about their books. One of them was a 95-year-old grandma.
Oh my goodness.
And she was from America. She'd written a children's book, and she said, everybody had told me that I would be no good and I should stop writing because there's no point to my writing. Because she wrote, there's no style, because she wrote in rap and their normal story. And they were like, there's no space for this. Like, what is this? Took her 44 years to become published. When she became published, she just carried on writing. And I thought...
Sorry to stop there. 44 years of writing, of being told no, and then she gets published. There is a story in there, isn't there?
Right.
Please
so I took inspiration from her and I went, wait there, I'm going to write something. And then each time I went and listened to Akala talk about his book Natives, about race and class, and he blows me away. That man is amazing.
He's somebody that I would love to bring on the show.
Oh God, I would love you to bring him on the show. He's just fascinating. And I listened to Gina Miller talk about her book as well, and lots of other people. And I just thought, there is so much here, and everybody's writing from experience, and we've all got a story to tell.
Yes, we have. So
I went, right, I'm going to write a story. First, I thought I was going to write a short story. It's ended up being, I think, a novel or maybe 3 books.
So a trilogy.
A trilogy. You might get bored, I don't know. But anyway.
A trilogy with a movie coming as well, by the way, if you don't know.
So basically, it's this, and it started off by me, I don't want to give too much away because, ideas are, But anyway, it started off with me wanting to leave a book for a friend. And I thought, shall I leave it on their doorstep in a brown paper bag, or shall I send it to them when I get back to Gillingham? Shall I send it to them? Mm-hmm. So post it, or shall I just hand it to them when I see them next? Or what should I do? And I was like, oh my God, I have an idea for a book. Why don't I write about a friendship? And these guys only communicate through letters and leaving little notes for each other, like at various cafes that they've been to, or, maybe scrawling notes on a toilet wall.
Oh my God, really?
That they sort of pick up a message and go, right, I need to go over to, I don't know, like the Elephant Cafe in Edinburgh, where J.K. Rowling did most of her writing, and just pick and speak to the guys at the counter, So they don't communicate at all.
That's genius.
Using technology.
I was going to say, that's
genius.
I don't
know, but I just thought,
it's so beautiful.
Letters.
What an amazing story.
Can I just
Please
say
continue.
quickly?
Yeah, I'm
so
excited.
This idea of letters, right? So I was at the homeless shelter last Sunday, not Sunday gone, Sunday before that, and I spoke to a gentleman who has been, now he's classed as homeless, but he's couch surfing. So that's also a form of homelessness because he doesn't have a permanent residence. He has been writing to his mum, who lives in Dover, for over 18 years. I said, why don't you call her? He said, because what am I going to do when I call her? Just talk about sort of gossip and people and how bad my life is. He said, when you write, this is what's in the book as well, he said, you have to choose the paper, you have to choose the pen, you have to think about what you say, and you have to make sure that you eloquently, or however you want to, write your heart on that page so that the person can feel you.
I don't know whether anybody else is having a shiver in their spine, because I think this is an art that I am, kind of thinking, by no means saddened by this, but there's an opportunity here for, I'm just blown away by the fact that possibly the next generation, due to our own children, for example, due to the writing pen side of scenario, it may be reducing. So we're getting touch pads and
this is it.
And environments you don't have to look for a piece of paper.
But I remember writing to my cousins in India. We would write once a month. We don't do that anymore. We just like pictures on Facebook. And I'm like, what's happened to, and I've spoken to my cousin about my studies because he's a principal in Dehradun, and I'm like, I would sit and have a chat with him via paper, which I loved. And just that feeling of receiving a letter or receiving a gift through the post. How amazing is that? We don't do that anymore.
No. So remember this. When you read Bal's book, it was here that you heard it first. The Empower Hour, Salam Radio, 106.2 Peterborough with Sukhi Wahiwala, your host. And I hope you picked that up remembering that. Please do continue. This story of being able to be, picking up and receiving a bit of a hidden kind of love kind of thing, where you're picking up you're opening up a book knowing that something might be inside this book specifically from a couple, for example, and then you're picking it up and then you're realizing the next cue or the next clue of where you've got to go and where you've got to be.
And you know what else is really lovely? There's a cafe in, I think it's Bristol. I'm not sure. As an actor, you travel all over, right? No, I'm lying. It's in New Cross in London. So it's in London. And I've only visited it like maybe a handful of times, but they leave notes, like people just leave notes for other people, like just like that. There's post-it notes on a table. And you might just, you might leave a note for the waiter that the coffee was lovely, or you might leave a little inspirational message for the next person that's going to sit there. And those notes are just everywhere.
So it's actually exactly what you're talking about. So you actually really leave some kind of positive information for the next person.
Totally.
What a genius model. And I think that should be incorporated in every single restaurant now, and every single cafe.
Well, I think waiters do sort of write little notes, like secret notes on the end of the receipt. Please come again.
But, what a beautiful story. I mean, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a chartbuster myself personally.
Oh, my thanks. You're so kind, Sukhi.
I think I'm just honest. I'm just honest. If something makes you, commits you to some kind of a conversation and intrigues you. Now, trust me, I'm not a fiction reader. All my reading is non-fiction. I'm just an encyclopedia for this kind of information.
Yeah.
But, the element of giving, the element of sharing your inner self with somebody else on a piece of paper after taking that little time and effort for thinking is just wonderful. I think you did a brilliant job. And, with your reference of conversation with all your giving and the story and how becoming selfless by assisting other people through empowering other people, listen to their journey, and this young lady triggering and inspiring you with her spoken word as well as her written word, and then you're going by chance, by making it happen for yourself and turning up in Edinburgh and just saying, okay, let's be entrepreneurial about this a second. How can I get up there without a cost? Why don't I go up there and get a job? And then you get the job in the best place possible.
Oh my God,
for yourself.
It was amazing. And you know what? It made me vow to myself that I would read a book a month. I mean, for some people that might not be a big thing, but for me, for somebody who only reads plays, when she needs to, it's amazing. And I've already read lots of wonderful books, and
wow.
And you can soak yourself up in that world. And I want people to do that with my work. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to say, get on with that letter. The letter, the book. It might. That's a nice title for you, isn't it? The letter.
The letter.
There you are. You see,
that's really actually.
I copyright that straight away. By the way, guys, in case you haven't worked this out already, I'm just.
Sukhi, I'm going to come to you for that.
I'm just stating it right on live on air. Okay, so
I'm going to. What's the word? Credit you as well. I'll be like,
no,
yes,
God bless
title.
You. So, not at all, please. It's the way of joking and jesting. So, do you know about what are you up to today? I want to really know a little bit more about what you're up to today. You won't believe there's 2 minutes left.
Are you serious? Only
Seriously.
Excellent.
Please, for example, this is Salam Radio. Please do get in touch. It's actually going quite nicely ballistic on the Facebook Live over there. I've got people saying great interview, Sukhi, Bal. This is my wife, actually, Balvinder. She's saying, Bal, your strength of character, humble and endearing words speak volumes. It's an inspiration to hear. I couldn't believe it. It's actually, we haven't got there. We've got 1 minute left.
No.
Bal, quickly. You know what? It's an inspiration. And thank you very much, Pav.
Yes, thank you.
And my brother there, and Am, also Gola, who actually connected.
Is she? I love Am. She's amazing. Hello, Am.
We've got about 44 seconds. Where do we find you?
Give me some so unfortunately, there's a whole load of stuff online. I've been having a few auditions and stuff. And any work that comes, I will be posting on my Twitter, on my Insta. And
so is your Twitter and Insta both Lee Sopal?
No, my Twitter is Balvinder Sopal, at Balvinder Sopal. The Insta is Lee Sopal, and then Facebook is Balvinder Sopal as well. But mainly the radio reports are sort of taking up a lot of my time. But I'm loving doing that because I'm finding about my community,
Wonderful.
So yes.
Do you know, honestly, we've had an amazing time today. It's
so
on
nice.
the Empower Hour. Thank you very much, Bal, for being a part of our team and our life. Truly inspiring. Please do get out of your own way and empower yourself and follow Bal Sopal. And she's been a tremendous, tremendous guest for us once again today. Good night. Take care. See you next week.